Chill English Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chill English Podcast, the place where we make learning English relaxing and fun. I'm your host, Alex.
And I'm Chloe. It's so good to be back with all of you. Alex, I'm feeling particularly relaxed today, which is perfect for our topic.
It certainly is, Chloe. In our last episode, we talked all about morning routines and how to start the day right. Today, we're flipping the script and looking at the other end of the day. We are going to dive deep into our evening routines.
Yes, not just I eat dinner and go to bed. We're talking about the real stuff, how we truly disconnect from work, what we do to relax, and how we prepare for a good night's sleep. We're going to explore the phrases and idioms that native speakers use all the time when talking about their evenings.
Exactly. We'll be following our dialogue and deconstruction format. We'll have a natural conversation, and we'll pause along the way to break down the most useful vocabulary for you. So get comfortable, maybe grab a cup of tea, and let's get started. All right, Chloe, let's start at the beginning of the end, so to speak, the moment the workday is over. For me, this is a very defined moment. Around 6 p.m., I make a conscious decision to wrap up what I'm doing.
Wrap up. That's a great one. It sounds so much more final than just finish.
It is, and that leads us to our first teaching point. Let's talk about ending your work. Listeners, you'll hear two very common phrases, to wrap up and to call it a day. They are similar, but there's a subtle difference. To wrap up means to finish the final parts of a task. For example, I just need to send one more email and then I can wrap up for the day. It implies you're in the process of finishing.
Right. It's like you're literally wrapping a present. You're doing the last few folds of paper and putting the ribbon on. But what about to call it a day? That feels more decisive.
Exactly. To call it a day is the decision itself. It means I am declaring that my work for today is finished. You can say this even if you haven't finished everything. Imagine you're really tired and it's only 4 p.m. You might say, I'm exhausted. I'm just going to call it a day and finish this tomorrow.
I've definitely done that, especially on a Friday. My brain just checks out and I think, nope, that's enough. I'm calling it a day. It's like you're the referee of your own work life and you just blew the final whistle.
A perfect analogy. So for me, I wrap up my tasks systematically and then I officially call it a day. I close my laptop, put my work phone away, and that's it. The transition is complete. How about you, Chloe? Is it that clear-cut for you?
Laughs clear-cut? Alex, you know me better than that. For me, the biggest challenge is learning to switch off.
And that's a fantastic phrasal verb. Let's make that our second teaching point. For me, to switch off is all mental. It means to stop thinking about work or other stressful things and allow your brain to relax. It's like flipping a switch in your head from work mode to relax mode. The problem is sometimes my switch gets stuck.
I can imagine. So what does that feel like when you can't switch off? It feels like my brain is still running a dozen programs in the background. I might be cooking dinner, but I'm mentally rewriting an email I sent or thinking about a meeting for the next day. It's a terrible feeling. I remember one time I was trying to watch a movie, and my friend asked me what happens in it, and I had no idea. I had just been sitting there for 2 hours, completely zoned out, thinking about work.
That sounds stressful. The verb you just used there, to zone out, is also very useful here. It means you are physically present, but your mind is somewhere else. You're not paying attention. It often happens when you're tired or, in your case, failing to switch off.
Exactly. So a huge part of my evening routine is actively trying to switch off. I can't just close my laptop like you do. I need an activity that forces my brain to change channels. That might be listening to a really engaging podcast or calling a friend to talk about something completely unrelated to work.
That makes sense. It's about creating a mental buffer. Once I've called it a day, I move on to my next structured activity, preparing dinner. I'm a bit of a creature of habit. I plan my meals for the week, so I know exactly what I'm making.
Of course you do. A creature of habit. That's someone who likes to do the same thing at the same time every day. My dad is a total creature of habit. Same breakfast for 20 years. For me, dinner is more of a what do I feel like situation. After dinner, though, I do have to tidy up. I can't relax in a messy space.
To tidy up is different from deep cleaning, right? It just means to make a place look neat and organized. Put things back where they belong, wash the dishes, wipe the counters. I do the same. A clean space equals a clear mind.
For sure. Okay, so work is done, dinner is eaten, the kitchen is tidy. Now we enter the most important part of the evening, the unwinding phase.
Ah, yes, the main event. And this brings us to our next crucial teaching point. The phrasal verb to wind down is essential for this topic. Imagine an old-fashioned clock that you have to wind up to make it go. To wind down is the opposite. It's the process of gradually becoming less active and more relaxed, usually before going to sleep. It's not one single action, it's a series of actions.
I love that explanation. It's a process. You don't just go from 100 to 0. You have to slowly, gently bring your energy levels down. So, what's your go-to activity to wind down, Mr. Creature of Habit?
My primary way to wind down is reading. I make a cup of herbal tea and I curl up with a good book. To curl up with a book is such a cozy image, isn't it? It means to get into a comfortable, relaxed position, on a sofa, in a chair, to read. I specifically read fiction because it takes me to another world and helps me switch off completely. It's my dedicated me time.
Me time. I love that phrase. It's time you dedicate just for yourself, to do what you enjoy. My me time looks a little different. Sometimes I also curl up with the book, but more often than not, I'll catch up on a series I'm watching.
To catch up on something means to do or watch something that you didn't have time for earlier. You can catch up on emails, catch up on news, or in your case, catch up on a TV show. But doesn't watching a screen make it harder to sleep?
Ah, the great screen time debate. It can, definitely. I try to cut back on screen time at least an hour before bed. To cut back on something means to reduce the amount of it you do or consume, like cutting back on sugar or cutting back on spending. But sometimes I get so into a show that I lose track of time.
To lose track of time, a very dangerous thing in the evening. It means you become so absorbed in an activity that you don't notice how much time has passed.
It happens to the best of us. Suddenly, it's midnight, and I know I'm going to be dead tired the next day. This is probably why people would call me a night owl.
And there we have a perfect comparison for our next teaching point.
We mentioned early bird in our last episode, someone who loves the morning. The opposite is a night owl. This is a person who is naturally more energetic and productive late at night and prefers to go to bed late. The name comes from the owl, an animal that is active at night. Chloe, you're admitting you're a night owl.
I am, through and through. My brain often gets a second wind around 10 p.m. A second wind is a burst of new energy you get when you were previously feeling tired. When that happens, I can be very creative, but it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it means I end up burning the midnight oil.
Burning the midnight oil is a classic idiom. It means to work or study late into the night. It comes from a time before electricity, when people used oil lamps to see. If you were working late, you were literally burning oil at midnight.
And I feel it the next morning. You're definitely not a night owl, are you, Alex?
Not at all. Burning the midnight oil is my worst nightmare. My energy levels plummet after 9 p.m. My whole evening routine is designed to help me recharge my batteries effectively, so I can be an early bird. To recharge my batteries means to rest and relax in order to get your energy back, just like you would recharge a real battery. For me, that means a consistent bedtime.
Okay, so let's talk about the final frontier, actually going to bed, the grand finale of the routine.
This leads us perfectly into our final teaching point, which is all about the language of sleep. There are so many informal ways to say go to bed. Let's break down a few. The most common ones you'll hear are to hit the hay or to hit the sack.
I use hit the hay all the time. Okay, I'm exhausted. I'm going to hit the hay. It's super informal and friendly. It supposedly comes from a time when mattresses were just sacks filled with hay.
Precisely. Another slightly more neutral, but still common phrasal verb is to turn in. It simply means to go to bed. I might say to my family, I think I'm going to turn in now. It's calm and simple.
So you, Alex, probably turn in at 10:30 p.m. every night. I, on the other hand, hit the hay whenever I feel like it. What about when you're already in bed?
Good question. There are two lovely phrasal verbs for the process of falling asleep. The first is to nod off. This usually means to fall asleep unintentionally, often for a short time, and usually when you're sitting up. For example, the movie was so boring, I started to nod off on the sofa.
Oh, my dad does that all the time. His head starts bobbing up and down. It's hilarious.
The second one is to drift off. This describes the gradual, peaceful process of falling asleep. It has a very gentle feeling. I was listening to some calming music and slowly drifted off.
That's a beautiful one. That's the goal, right? To just drift off peacefully. And hopefully you end up sleeping like a log.
And that's our final idiom, to sleep like a log. A log is a heavy piece of wood that doesn't move, so if you sleep like a log, you sleep very deeply and soundly, without waking up. That's the result I aim for with my structured evening routine.
And for me, even though my routine is more go with the flow, the goal is the same, to switch off, wind down, and hopefully sleep like a log. It's just that my path to get there is a bit more scenic?
All right, that was a lot of fantastic vocabulary. Let's do a quick recap of the key phrases we discussed today. I'll group them by category to make it easier to remember.
Great idea. Let's do it.
Category 1, finishing the day. To wrap up, to finish the final parts of a task. To call it a day, to declare that your work for the day is over.
Category 2, relaxing and unwinding. To wind down, the gradual process of relaxing before sleep. Me time, time dedicated to yourself and your own enjoyment. To curl up with a book. To get comfortable and cozy to read. To catch up on a series. To watch something you missed earlier. To zone out. To not pay attention because your mind is elsewhere. To recharge your batteries. To rest and get your energy back.
Category 3, habits and time. A creature of habit. Someone who likes a fixed routine. Night owl. A person who is active late at night. To burn the midnight oil. To work or study late into the night. To get a second wind. To get a new burst of energy after feeling tired. To lose track of time. To be so absorbed you don't notice time passing. To cut back on something. To reduce the amount of something.
And finally, category 4, going to sleep. To hit the hay or hit the sack, an informal way to say go to bed. To turn in, a common, slightly more neutral way to say go to bed. To nod off, to fall asleep unintentionally, often for a short time, and usually when you're sitting up. To drift off, to fall asleep gradually and peacefully. To sleep like a log, to sleep very, very deeply. Dead tired, Extremely tired.
Excellent. We hope that summary helps you all review these wonderful phrases.
Now it's your turn to talk to us. We shared our very different evening routines, and now we want to hear about yours. Are you an organized Alex or a spontaneous Chloe? What's your go-to activity to wind down? Ooh, go-to is a good bonus one. It means your favorite or most reliable choice.
A great addition, Chloe. Yes, please share with us in the comments section wherever you're listening. Are you a night owl who loves to burn the midnight oil, or do you prefer to turn in early to recharge your batteries? We love reading your responses. Outro. That's all the time we have for today's episode of Chill English Podcast. We hope you found this deep dive into evening routines helpful.
Join us next time for another topic. We love helping you add these natural phrases to your vocabulary.
Until then, take care.
Bye.